Patriots Nation, something feels different in Foxborough today. There is serious talk about big-time awards, major changes on the roster, a gut punch on defense, and a quiet move that might become the turning point of this entire season. You have a young quarterback taking a leap, a veteran losing ground, a rookie earning real trust from the staff, and a hole in the middle of the defense that nobody wanted to see open. The question is simple. Are we watching the start of something huge, or just another false dawn that fades when it matters most? Patriots fans, let's be honest, not even the most optimistic among us thought things would escalate this fast with Drake Maye. A few months ago, we were still saying promising and good start, relax, it's early. Now national analysts are putting the Patriots number 10 in the same sentence as the MVP award. And the crazy part is this, it was not one outrageous video game performance from him that flipped the narrative, it was the chaos that happened somewhere else in the NFL. While Maye played a mature, controlled, mistake-free game against the Jets, stacking completion after completion and running the offense like a veteran, the guys who were supposed to be his direct rivals in the MVP race were the ones who blew up the discussion. Matthew Stafford on one side, Sam Darnold on the other, in a primetime showcase everybody was watching. It was the perfect stage for someone to sign their candidacy. And what did we see? Stafford quiet, flat, carried by the run game. Darnold imploding on national television with interception after interception, bringing back every old criticism about him wilting under pressure. In that kind of landscape, what happens to Drake Maye? He becomes the face of consistency. He does not need to throw 6 touchdowns every Sunday. He protects the football, moves the chains, controls the tempo, wins important games, and looks more comfortable in the pocket every single week. That matters when voters look at the full season, weighing production, narrative, and overall impact on the team. Josh Allen is still lurking after a monster outing, but right now the real conversation is this. Can the Patriots quarterback actually walk away with this award if New England grabs a top seed in the AFC? And that is where it hits the fan base. If Maye keeps playing at this level and the Patriots stay in the hunt for a high playoff seed, it stops being a wild dream and turns into a realistic path. The kid who arrives surrounded by questions is suddenly on the cover of the MVP race. That changes the way opposing coordinators build game plans and how defenses attack him. Some fans say it is too early to crown the kid. Others are already calling him a top 3 quarterback in the league this season. That split between euphoria and caution is only going to get louder if he strings together another stretch like this over the next few weeks. Before we go there, if you are still here riding this wave with me, take a second, smash that like button, share this with another Patriots fan, and make sure you are subscribed so you never miss these breakdowns. Patriots Nation, the behind-the-scenes moves this week looked simple on paper but turned into a knot that forced the coaching staff to change their plans. It all started with the expectation that a 3-time Super Bowl champion was finally going to be promoted to the 53-man roster. The path was clear, the spot existed, the logic pointed straight to him. Then an injury at the worst possible time flipped the board and forced Mike Vrabel to redraw the whole thing. And right in the middle of that reshuffle, a name popped up that very few people expected to see this early with the main group. C.J. Dippre, the young tight end out of Alabama, was pulled straight onto the active roster. For a team that was already thin at the position, basically playing only with Hunter Henry against the Jets, bringing in youth and explosion was not just convenient, it was mandatory. Austin Hooper's head injury complicated everything, and the concussion protocol always puts the coaching staff in a tough spot. They needed someone reliable, with developmental upside, who had already shown value in the pre-draft process. Dippre checks those boxes. To create room, John Saunders Jr. was released. He had been an intriguing addition a few weeks ago, but never carved out a serious role. At the same time, to balance out the defensive group and special teams, the Patriots went back to a face very familiar to Vrabel, Otis Reese, a physical, aggressive linebacker who first broke into the league in Tennessee as an undrafted guy and now comes in ready to bring energy on the practice field, especially with Darius Harris landing on the practice squad injured reserve. That is where the story turns almost ironic. Harris, the 3-time champion from Kansas City, was right on the brink of being promoted. The staff's plan was obvious. He was supposed to be that experienced reinforcement for the 53. But the injury he suffered in the win over the Jets blew up the idea. Vrabel admitted it publicly. We would like to sign him, but physically he just can't right now. One of those lines that instantly crush expectations. So the priorities shifted. Dippre becomes a direct investment. Reese arrives as a plug-and-play piece to keep the practice standard high. And a defense that has already been carrying a heavy load for most of the season now needs immediate help from the younger guys. This unexpected rotation forces a different kind of conversation about the core of this Patriots defense. Patriots Nation, take a deep breath because now we hit the most delicate point of the day. Losing Milton Williams is not just another line on a transaction wire or a cold roster note, it is a crater in the heart of this defense. He has been one of the most disruptive interior defensive linemen in football this year, collapsing pockets, wrecking gaps, and forcing offenses to scrap entire ideas. Because of his presence, when a player at that level goes down with a high ankle sprain, the whole defensive blueprint has to be recalculated. And the impact is not just felt on Sunday, it echoes through every single practice rep during the week. Without Milton, the inevitable question landed right at Mike Vrabel's feet. Now what? The answer surprised a lot of people. No panic shopping for a veteran, no scheme overreaction, no desperation mode. Vrabel kept it simple. The same guys who have been playing. It sounds basic, but it reveals a huge amount of trust in the group. Eric Gregory, who just logged his first game, becomes an essential piece in the rotation. Joshua Farmer, working his way back, suddenly gains more importance. And Jeremiah Farms Jr., who has been flashing on the scout team, now stands one step away from playing real defensive snaps. Still, the real weight falls on the new core trio. Christian Barmore, Kyrus Tonga, and Corey Durden now form the heart of the position. Barmore should keep his role as the destroyer and maybe even see his workload go up. He is already one of the pillars of this defense and now becomes almost the anchor of the line. Tonga is a strong candidate to see a jump in early down snaps, using his power to clog running lanes. Durden, who has shown flashes as an interior pass rusher, turns into that X factor who can surprise offenses when the Patriots need quick pressure. Vrabel hammered home something important. This is a progress league. It is about growth, adaptation, constant evolution. New England is going to have to do that without Milton for a few weeks, and of course, the fan base feels it. You cannot just shrug off the loss of a guy who was playing at a Pro Bowl level. The emotional temperature shifts when a piece like that goes down. At the same time, that vacuum opens the door for one of the classic Patriots way narratives. Next man up, the opportunity that changes careers, and that is exactly where the hook appears for the move that shook up the entire locker room and said a lot about how this front office thinks about its young pass rushers. In the middle of this defensive storm, one decision caught everyone off guard and showed how Mike Vrabel thinks when it comes to protecting in-house talent. When Milton Williams went to injured reserve, a clean roster spot opened up. The obvious reading was simple. Here comes another defensive tackle. But that is not what happened. The staff made a move that looked quiet but instantly revealed how much they believe in a young player who has been turning heads behind the scenes, Braden Swinson. The young edge rusher, a fifth-round pick, had already been a surprise cut at the end of training camp. Many people thought it was too risky to stash him on the practice squad around the league. Teams were monitoring Swinson closely, ready to sign him to their active roster at the first opening. That is the context that changes the whole picture. The Patriots did not promote Swinson just because they promoted him to block any other franchise from stealing him. A protective move around a guy they see as a long-term piece. Vrabel basically confirmed that with a rare level of honesty at the podium, there is some of that, yes. In other words, Swinson was on someone's radar and New England refused to roll the dice. But it was not just about protection. The head coach also stressed that opportunity and merit were key parts of the decision. And honestly, the tape and reports back it up. Swinson reshaped his body, got stronger, refined his technique, and turned into one of those names that coaches keep bringing up when asked about practice standouts, especially because of his work on special teams and his juice as a pass rusher on the scout unit. Now he joins the 53 not only as a developmental project, but as a real rotational option. After the trade that sent Keion White out of town, there is even more competition behind Harold Landry, Kalavon Chason, Anfernee Jennings, and Elijah Ponder. A hot stretch from the rookie could absolutely shake up the pecking order and change how this pass rush looks down the stretch. And while that changes the entire dynamic of the defensive front, it also sparks a big question for the fan base. If this front office is willing to go this far to protect its own young pieces, what else are they lining up behind the scenes? In Foxborough, moves like this almost never come alone. There is usually a second layer, a bigger intention. With the defense adjusting on the fly and the offense being dragged forward by a young quarterback playing at an MVP level, it really feels like something is building here. Patriots Nation, look at how heavy this day turned out to be. Drake Maye is now being talked about as a legit MVP candidate. The offense just added a young weapon in CJ Dipper. The defense lost a core piece with Milton Williams going down. And at the same time, the staff doubled down on the future by locking in Braden Swinson. All of that in a season where every detail matters. So I want to hear from you. Are we watching the birth of a new era in Foxborough? Or is it still too early to say that out loud? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you are always here with us when the next chapter of this Patriots story drops.